Hey, so welcome back to another episode of the Blue Ridge Bonfire. We actually are doing a bit of a soft relaunch. I don't know, is that like a
That sounds way too formal.
terminology that would work? So, if you've never listened to another episode, it is incredible that you landed on this one. For the people that have, we usually have like a topic.
That we never get to.
Yeah, or we spend 10 or 50 minutes on something like that.
Yeah, that's more like it.
So we're thinking that since our attention span seems to be limited to like 10 to 12 minutes, we're instead going to have like 3 or 4 segments of 10 to 12 minute length and talk about like kind of like a rotating cast of these segments. And so we'll see how it goes.
You'll see the ones that we have. We've got a few for this one, but also this is a good chance to say, if you have ideas for segments you want us to do, comment, and we'll consider them.
Yeah.
If they don't suck.
And I know how some of you comment, so drop your comments now before we even get to it.
Yeah.
And then if we get to your idea here in a bit, then you have to go back and give us another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of thinking.
Yeah. All right. So the first one, speaking of thinking, is we're gonna have a bi-weekly or bi-monthly shop update from Matt. So Matt, tell us what we're working on. This one comes out Thursday, for what it's worth, or Wednesday. This podcast does. So
Tomorrow.
this one
So
can be pretty
tomorrow.
immediate.
This is
Yeah.
tomorrow.
It's gonna be a fast one.
All tire bags are in production and going crazy. We're working on a adapter for the headrest trash bag to go between the seats because that's where I run mine.
Kind of think of the snack bag style. Yeah.
Snack bag style, a little easier to remove.
No.
Because the snack bag sort of stays, right? Like, 'cause
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just it's not holding dirty stuff. But the trash bag will be a little more removable, a little easier. So that's coming. Waiting on some hardware for that. That should be done. That should be here end of this week, and I think we should have it figured out next week.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 big things,
Yeah.
I think, or 3 big things that are kind of rolling right now.
Backpack is it's on the stove still. It's simmering.
It's actually so that's another one that I've got some fabric coming for that just got finished being made, and we're gonna get that stuff.
Yeah. And I'm excited because Logan and I are going to do a pretty intense launch for the whole idea being this is a multi-sport backpack, not just an overlandy thing. So we're going to be doing some other activities.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Logan underlanding for the first time.
Yeah. I'm a little scared.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get some more work done on that this week. And like I said, we had to order some fabric that takes a long time to get, so that we had to pile on somebody else's run because we can't buy enough of it to be on our own run. So that's supposed to be here.
Yeah.
I think next week.
Is it an exciting fabric?
It's nothing crazy. I mean, it's a Veltrex. They call it Veltrex. Is that what it is? Veltex.
Yeah.
Which is a Velcro product that's kind of sheet padding.
Because we already had some. Did you get a different color? Or?
No. We got more of kind of the correct color. I ended up ordering a couple rolls of it so
cool.
we can get.
Yeah.
We can actually run that in a bunch of things. So
Yeah.
we're gonna start test driving Veltrex in chest rigs and some things like that,
Yeah.
where we've got some, we can run full panels of
Right.
Velcro instead of strips.
Yeah. Gives you some more modularity. Doesn't make the binding of the bag so intense because like the strip Velcro like 4 inches. Tough. Like you can't.
Yeah,
do corners
as
with
you
that.
start stacking stuff into it, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you start having trouble, and you start having trouble with corners looking good and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Cool.
we've tested some small samples of it, and now we're gonna start incorporating that into stuff. So
Yeah.
I think that's all the new exciting. That may be the new exciting for like a month, but
No.
We'll have to have something in 2 weeks again,
Yeah.
I guess.
We'll duct tape you to your chair so you have something.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
One of the segments we've talked about is news, so like bigger stuff. I don't know if this is fully news, kind of shop date combined, as we officially announced the OAR stuff.
Oh yeah, OAR
So-
dates are up there and tickets are available.
Website's there.
October 24th to the 26th. Essentially, tickets are if you want to camp, and if you want to camp, all right, that's your one. Like that one also allows you to sell at the flea market. You can be a day seller at the flea market, or there's a free like day attendee just to shop. And we just heard that's on there for the purposes of like kind of counting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so that's flea market and sort of outdoor extravaganza.
Yeah.
All
So
in one, wrapped up in one thing.
yeah, we're working on some like other vendors, not necessarily overlandy adjacent outdoor spaces is what we'll say. We actually got a call Thursday with our Parks and Rec here. Lee said he was interested in like the 5K idea. So yeah, it's coming together. Last year was essentially just we'll have some fall festival stuff. There will be pumpkins,
Yeah,
things
we'll
like
have
that.
some,
There
we'll have some
music, a
stuff for kids to
bonfire,
get.
maybe 2 bonfires.
Yeah.
But then also like maybe a 5K, and we're gonna have some maybe like a fly fishing vendor there that will do like a casting clinic in the afternoon. You can sign up for stuff like that. So
Yeah. Maybe a gravel ride. Have we gone down the path on that?
I
Or we're
haven't
still working on
made
that?
any leeway on that, but there may be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that there may be.
Yeah,
like
we're working
a
on
juggler. There may be a juggler.
There could be.
But yeah, no. So OAR October 24th through 26th, literally other side of the road, Matt's farm.
Yeah.
Some different activities from last year, but hopefully make it bigger and better. Yeah. So the flea market last year was really good. I mean, like really good.
Yeah,
so even
a lot
if
of
you just
stuff.
come
A
out
lot
for
of people
Saturday,
coming shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably the best one we've had by far. And
Yeah.
then hoping to add some stuff to that
Yeah.
and make it a little more exciting. So a few hours of flea
General
market and
outdoor activities.
yeah, a few hours of flea market, a few hours of other stuff. Whatever.
Yeah, no, that's looking forward to that. We moved it back a couple weeks. We felt like we were maybe kind of rolling the dice, it being in November with the weather. Like it was.
Yeah, we got
it was-
lucky last year.
It was fine. It could have not been.
Yeah.
So,
It was on the cold end of fine. It
Right,
was
yeah.
fine, but it was
Yeah.
chilly.
yeah. So, yeah, good call, Logan. That's definitely kind of news and a shop update. So the next one is going to be like cool stuff that we've seen, and this is going to be where it's a little bit more like, oh, who just knows, or who knows what it'll be.
This is the part that's what just ended up being
Right.
most of the conversation last time, but we decided
Yeah.
we'd give it a label.
So mine is probably the smallest thing, and I have it ready, so I'll lead off. So shout out to our official podcast sponsor, Green Top Outdoors, because Jimmy keeps us in Yeti gear. Yeti just debuted this new cap called the Commuter, and you've probably seen us all. Like Matt's got a Rambler water bottle. There's one in my truck. This is like a twist top coffee top that fits down into all the Ramblers. So you could, like, no matter what size, right? Jimmy was nice enough when I inquired about getting one of these caps because they were sold out on Yeti's site. He sent me the new cup, but I will probably go back to my regular green one after this. But yeah, no, really cool. So if you want to use it for a water bottle, that would be a hilarious coffee cup too. That's like a liter point something, right?
40. I think it's 40 ounces.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's really cool, really well designed.
No, that one's 36. But
There we go. Yeah. I knew it was like just over. Yeah. Or I was thinking they had one that was just over. So yeah, quarter turn. The whole thing comes out to clean it. It is apparently very spill proof. So yeah. So, yeah, no, I thought that was kind of neat that Yeti made essentially like a really nice coffee mug out of all your water bottles that you may already have. So
Yeah. Also, people may already know this. I didn't realize how many tops they make. Like, there's
Right.
a whole section of their
There's a
website that's
million.
different tops.
Yeah, I mean,
so
like-
it's pretty cool.
if you can think it up,
Yeah.
they probably have it. And what's so cool is they're all like backwards compatible too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is the slick thing for sure.
Yeah.
The backwards compatibility is pretty neat.
Because I like the chug cap. We learned the name of that one.
Oh, really?
That has the big top and then the smaller drinking underneath it.
That's 100% my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see one that was pretty cool. That's essentially this with a drinking spout on the outside, and the little cap is magnetic, so it just like you can slap it on the back of it, and it doesn't fall off.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So essentially, it's just the top of this with a hole, and then the little cap that goes over that hole is magnetic. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I love that one. So
Yeah.
that's my go-to for almost everything.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything. I've not. The only thing I will say that recently I went and watched the F1 movie,
Oh yeah.
and the van in the F1 movie is
Yeah, that was a
spectacular.
I think that's a Field Van. Like the company Field Vans provided that for them. I saw a post. I think it was Field Van. Now I gotta look.
I was like,
They more or less were
that's
like,
my van.
we need a van that fits this era and this description. And Field Van was like, we've got you. Let me see if I can find it. We don't have great service here in the studio, but yeah. see. I think it was them. Come on, internet. I believe in
And
you.
that's probably about the size of a Sienna with way better suspension and worse gas mileage. So I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a 72. Yeah, field van. Yeah, there you go. There it is at their shop. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's sports mobile
Yeah.
top on it, 4-wheel drive Ford van. I was.
You know, I don't know if I realized how cab over the Ford vans looked at that point.
Oh yeah, no, you sat on the bumper.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's
like, your,
no
your
hood.
windshield was in the bumper. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all in the doghouse.
yeah.
Yeah, especially in that area. Most of the vans were like that in that area.
Yeah. No, I saw that a couple weeks ago. They had posted like, hey, you know, if you spot this in the F1 movie, it's one of ours. Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
Okay, so that would be the only interesting thing.
yeah. It's worth looking the van up at
Yeah.
least. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Logan, you've got a good one.
Do I?
Yeah.
I've got one. No, I was actually just trying to think of something for this, and I remembered that a couple days ago I was looking at watches. I forget why. And I have a watch that I love that I've got a lot of compliments. It's a Withings watch, so I joke that it's a watch of moderate intelligence.
Oh
Because
yeah. You're kind of
it's-
smartwatch.
Yeah, it's like an analog watch. It has physical dials and all of that. But it does, like, the inner circle dial is a step counter, and it auto syncs to an app. So, like, if I go for a swim, it knows I went for a swim and all that. But it just looks normal. Well, they updated that, like, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. They came out with a new version, and I was really disappointed because they put giant digital displays on it that made it just kind of got rid of that.
Yeah,
look.
because yours doesn't look. I mean, it looks like a
Yeah, you wouldn't know that it was
very minimalist
yeah.
mechanical. Yeah.
So a couple of days ago, I found out they came out with a new version, and it's like the best of both worlds. I'll have to put a link down in the comments or something because it's there is still a digital display, but it doesn't look like it. Like it.
Oh, cool.
It has all the features of that in between one, but went back to looking a lot more
Yeah.
analog, which
That's not what
is
I
cool.
thought you were going to talk about. The thing you said right before we started filming, the Defender Trophy thing.
Oh yeah, no, that I was trying to think of an object. Coming into this, I didn't
Yeah.
have a specific like object, and I was saying to the guys, I saw they announced a new Defender Trophy series, and it sounds like they're trying to make it better than the last attempt
Yeah,
at
it's
that.
like regional competitions.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that it's a global regional competition, and then they are going to bring everybody together for like a world one challenges involving like off-roady stuff. Yeah. You get the applications are online.
Yeah,
So they're doing a camel trophy.
Right, except I think it's all like at facilities. It's not like, because there were like regional qualifiers for the Camel Trophy, but it was like start here, go there. Like this is more like competition based, like at a facility. At least that's the vibe I've got. I could be wrong.
Fun.
If only if it was sponsored by maybe like by a cigarette company.
I know.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah, the good old days. Yeah. So,
All right, what's our next section? What do
well, we're
sectioning.
absolutely blowing through these.
Yeah.
We're at 14 minutes. So this one may take a little bit longer, but we may have to have a bit of a ramble at the end. So one of the ones
I don't know.
at Logan's behest, one of the sessions is going to be, or segments is going to be Rick's rant. So we oftentimes
let's give
have-
some backstory. I share an office with Rick.
Yeah.
And I get to be privy to Rick's rants occasionally.
On
It's like,
almost a daily basis.
and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you should definitely
For
just
example,
record
the guy
these.
that like wrote us a lengthy email saying that our bag handles were like not usable. It was like, we've literally sold tens of thousands of bags and you're the only person. Maybe you just have giant hands. Like, when people believe in their opinion that much, that's when I tend to like go off the rocker. Like,
Yeah.
your bags are unusable. The handles are too small. Like,
So I've joked.
listen here, Andre the Giant. First off, pleasure to make your acquaintance.
I've told Rick that we need to share these publicly. Some are maybe more shareable than others. But
Right,
here we are.
yeah. But this one actually has nothing to do with the shop. So a couple of people that listen already know about it because I was calling people on the way back. So 3 weeks ago, Logan, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
3
was-
weeks ago Friday, I guess. I had talked to this guy on Marketplace about a 100 Series Land Cruiser in DC for 4 or 5 days. And more or less was like, hey, can't get away anytime soon. Going to go talk to the bank. things like that. Everything was squared away. All right, Friday, I'm coming, to look at this thing. Check in hand, and more or less, I told him like, as long as there's nothing crazy, I'm gonna take it, right? Like, more or less, put it on him, unless you misrepresented this truck. It was a 2002, 160 some thousand miles on it. Really clean, especially the interior. Like, assuming he wasn't totally full of shit, I asked him multiple times, like, has it been reupholstered? No. So Logan and I hop in my truck because somebody may need to drive it back, and then also Matt Elstock had volunteered to drive about maybe 40 minutes to check it out. Matt works on Toyotas, knows a lot about Land Cruisers. I just wanted to.
I mean, he is like the Land Cruiser guy. Like,
Yeah,
if I was doing any heavy lifting on a cruiser, that's where I would.
Right. Yeah.
That's where I would be taking it because.
And he was like, "Yeah, man, no, I can do that Friday. I'll meet you up there."
We should put a link to Matt's stuff in the bio too, because he is
for sure.
If you're a Land Cruiser person, he's the guy you want. He's the guy you want to know.
Yeah, and matter of fact, I'd already decided like one possibility was maybe just drive it back to Matt's shop, leave it for a week or two.
Yeah.
When you have time to go through it. So pick up Logan at like 10:30 in Lynchburg.
So this was an 02 with 100 and
like 60 some thousand on it.
Yeah, imperfect.
Yeah. No, I mean, it had a Dobson suspension, a new exhaust. He had done timing and
frame was perfect.
Yeah.
Body was perfect.
Interior was like ridiculous,
unbelievably nice.
Yeah. If it would have been a non-nav, it literally would have been like the dream.
Yeah.
So message the guy, hey, we're leaving Lynchburg. Here's our ETA. Okay, great. Then we hit traffic in like Orange County. We were like, hey, let's
not California.
Yeah, the other one. We're like, hey, we're gonna here's an updated. Great, sounds good. That was maybe we were 90 minutes out at that point.
Yeah.
So he had given us a neighborhood of like townhouses, and not a house number, but I assumed it was just like, well, we'll see it, right? Like it's a bunch of townhouses. So we drive through, we don't see it. Matt gets there a few minutes after us, and we're like, hey, so the guy gave me a Google number. I've actually had spoken to him a couple times, and he's not picking this up. But he told me he worked from home, and I was like, well, maybe he's just got a meeting that's run long. At this point, he's like 15 minutes on not picking up.
We've talked to people, like we've talked to neighbors.
Yeah. We like right after we pulled in, we saw some neighbors. We're like, hey, we're looking for this truck, and one guy was like, oh, it's been in overflow parking. I've seen it down here. It's like, okay, cool. Nothing super weird yet.
It still exists.
Right in my head. So, well then it was like, I'll give him a few more minutes. It's like, all right, we told him we'd be here at 2:50. At 3:15, I've called in, messaged him with no response. It was like, let's try again in a few minutes. And we talked to some more neighbors. One guy's like, never seen it. Other guy was like, oh yeah, it's been here. And at this point, things get suspicious because I dial his Google Voice number, and it's like, this number is no longer accepting calls. And I was like, fantastic. That's great. So I messaged him like, hey man, we're here. What's going on? Nothing. We actually walk. There's like an adjoining neighborhood down the street. We don't see it over there.
This is like a 3-hour drive.
Oh yeah, no. Like it was like 3.5 with traffic. So we mosey around a few more minutes, nothing, and was like, all right guys, let me go buy you a drink. So we drive out, and while we're sitting there, I'm like, wait a second. He sent me a picture of the title, and he told me it was like in his mom and dad's name. And I look up that address. It was literally across the road. So we go over there to see if we can find it. So no Land Cruiser there. And we, at that point, we're like, all right, we're going to go home. So I call Steve, and Steve lives like 10 minutes from there. And he was like, dude, I'm going over to family's for like dinner tonight. I'll just roll through there and see if I see it later today. So at like 10 o'clock that night, Steve texted me. He's like, you're not going to believe this. So we actually got up the next day. He was like, I drove through the neighborhood with the title, his parents' address. And the kid is sitting at the end of the neighborhood in it, like idling. It doesn't have any tags on it. He's like, I thought it was really weird. So I circled back around and pulled up beside him and was like, hey man, that thing's really clean. And the kid was like, and he said he was like 20s. He's like, thanks. Yeah, it's my dad's. And he was like, well, you think you'd be interested in getting rid of it? Like, I noticed it doesn't have tags. He's like, maybe I'll have to ask him. So the next day, Steve, like they exchanged numbers when I messaged him, and he was like, yeah, Dad said it's actually already on Facebook. Mind you, it's on Facebook. The ad was under the kid's name, right? Like the ad that I had been interacting with. So Steve goes back and forth with him, and unfortunately Steve was getting ready for a trip and wasn't able to like follow through on this. But more or less was like, oh yeah, he's got it listed. He might be interested in selling it. I can meet you, and then if you decide you want it, you can meet my dad, because I think Steve had asked like, hey, I kind of just talked to your dad directly. So Steve and I have talked about this, and our prevailing theory is this: Dad's given kid Land Cruiser to drive because it's in Dad's name. Kid decides he's going to try to sell it to me. I have to wonder if like the kid didn't like literally have the tags off of it ready for me and was like, hey Dad, somebody's coming to buy the Land Cruiser. And he was like, the hell they are. Like, you can drive it, but you can't sell it, So that's my theory, is that's what's happened, because the kid never did answer. He took the ads down too. So yeah.
So it was no longer listed.
No longer for sale. Yeah. Yeah. So
That last piece is news to me.
oh,
That's
okay. Yeah, I
interesting.
couldn't remember. Yeah. And
So 6 hours of driving.
oh yeah,
It's the longest drive I've ever gone on for a beer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially
Three people involved.
Yeah.
yeah, and he like never did message back, nothing, just like totally. I'm sure like once he realized I was there, he just blocked me, so he probably never even saw those. Will say was not that I'm disappointed in Facebook. He had 2 different ads up, one with old pictures, one with new pictures, and like just based on the seasons. And I was like, well, all right, let's do this, because you can report an ad for like missing a meetup, or you can review a seller if you've like messaged with them enough. So I reviewed him with 0 stars on one and reported the ad, and like the review never showed up. It was like, what's the point, Meta? Like, yeah. Yeah, so if you know a clean 100 series, I would love a good 06, because 06 has got more horsepower. But 02 or up, let me know. I like 150,000 mile range, less than 20 grand. The more it's less than 20 grand, the better. Yeah. I know I want to do like suspension, stuff like that. So yeah, if anybody knows of a good 100 series for sale, let me know. I'm in the market. I'm shopping hard.
And know that you'll be coming with raccoon
Yeah.
urine and
No. Next time I'm bringing the whole shit kit. Like, yeah. Listen, I've still got his address. If I happen to be in DC.
So since we had address and we'd been there, I told Rick that we should be taking like telephoto photos of his parents' door and like mailing him
Oh, right.
Yeah.
the physical photos.
Jeez, I can't imagine. The dumb thing is, I can't imagine that you would do all that
Yeah. Especially
and
like sending
give
me-
somebody the flipping address.
Yeah.
Sending me a picture of the title with his parents' address, right? Like that's the killer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah. No,
Right.
it's
They would just have to be slightly worse than us.
yeah. And honestly,
Because
I've seen where they live. They're not. They're not nearly as prepared to wreak gun havoc as I am. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
You'd have to do that to somebody
I
just
did-
slightly more vengeful than us.
I did have a thought. I was
Or
like,
you'd have to be slightly closer.
he's using his cell phone for, to just at the very least hassle people. It was like, we have a friend. I'm pretty sure if I called him, and it was just like, can we just make sure he never has Wi-Fi ever again? Like, I just want this to be like the West Virginia dead spot, but his neighborhood. Like, no comms in and out forever. And I think that friend would be like, yeah, give me a few days. I can make that happen. Yeah. But yeah, no. Ironically, I found another one, and it's like 15 minutes from there. And I was like, I don't know if I can bring myself to drive back up there. Yeah, I was just like, it's guilty by proximity. I don't know if I can.
Guilty by. I mean, that would give you an excuse to.
You ain't wrong.
I mean, because it's the 3-hour drive that would stop me.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, my vengefulness stops at about an hour and a half.
And it wasn't even like the 3-hour drive to Square. I mean, because we were, we went up through Front Royal, 95, all the opportunities for terrible traffic.
That was Rick's extravaganza
Yeah, no, it was
on a Friday.
a long ass day to not come back on the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So.
and a lot of messing around.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had talked to the guy on the phone 2 or 3 times. He had even told me, like, at one point, like, oh, okay, if you're coming with a check, I just won't show it to anybody, like, tomorrow. That was, like, Thursday or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at first we thought maybe he had multiple people coming. He sold it to the first guy, but after Steve's story and the interaction, I think he was literally trying to sell it out from underneath his dad. Like, yeah, so. But yeah, 100 series, 06 is the dream, newer than 02. That's because, tidbit, the latch car seat system was introduced in
O2.
So it's way easier to put a car seat. Yeah.
Right, and that's important now.
Yeah. I just mostly don't want to deal with like feeding it through. I just click. Yeah.
We also, on that trip, we did pass through the town with the best fried chicken in the universe. Yeah.
What was it called?
Is that
Self-proclaimed, but we did a little history.
Did we try it to find out whether it's actual?
We didn't know that until we were like, why is this here? It turns out it's like 15 minutes from Culpeper. But the way we had went, it literally was like a 2-lane road with farms, nice farms, but farms. And then we just pop out at this roundabout. Like there were a lot of people, like all of a sudden. And we were just like, what is this? So a quick Google. And it was like the fried chicken capital of the universe. And I was like, first off, I used to live pretty close to Corbin, Kentucky, where Sanders Cafe is at. If any place warrants that, I can't imagine it's not the origin of Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? Like, you know.
I mean, the Colonel would be pissed.
Yeah. But we found out, I found out later it was a big railroad stop going north. And I guess there was like a whole downtown where people would stop and eat, and it was like fried chicken was the thing. And then they're like whole downtown burned in like the 1880s or something like that.
Probably because of all the fryers.
Right. It's just years of just chicken grease like building up on the buildings, and finally somebody flicked a cigarette.
In the right spot, and poof, the whole place was gone.
Trying to see if I can find the name of that place.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what other segments are we? What else are we missing other than Rick's extravaganza?
I think that was it. Rick's Rant, news. We each did our cool stuff that we've seen. We've
I thought there was a fourth.
So here I've got a little bit of like, now if we're just into the rambling. So I think I've solidified a plan for a pretty cool trip. My best friend in Tennessee turns 40 like several months before me, and we've been trying to think of like a cool trip to like kind of culminate that. This was my big time bike buddy. Like, you know, this was a guy I was riding with pretty much, I don't know, 80% of the time I was on a bike. So we are thinking he's going to drive up, probably spend the night, get on Amtrak in Lynchburg with our bikes, Lynchburg to DC to Cumberland, Maryland, and then we're going to ride the C&O Canal Path back from the Eastern Continental Divide back into DC. So like 185 miles or something like that.
When does this happen? When do you turn 40?
So his birthday will be next spring. So we'll do it like between my birthday and his, so probably early summer next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're 39?
No, so I'll be 39 in February, and then I'll turn 40 at the end. He turns 40 like
okay.
6 or 7 months before.
I'm
me.
like, I didn't think you were that close.
Knocking on the door.
Yeah. Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
You're getting old.
Yep. But yeah, so we're gonna do about 200 miles. I'm pretty sure by the time you like knock out a couple of like rides over to, you know, a restaurant for lunch and ride out to a campsite. So 200 miles. Unfortunately, we're kind of slaves.
I mean, between now and then, maybe you should upgrade to the e-bike thing.
No, that's kind of sacrilege for us.
I'm just saying. Well, I mean, at this point, you know,
I need to get back on the bike a little bit better.
Maybe it's time to look at your options.
We were thinking we could probably do it in 2 days if it wasn't for the train schedule. Like, it would be 2 really full days. So we would end up essentially like riding into DC and having to get a hotel or something, and then get back on the train the next day. But yeah, I think we're gonna do like 2-point-something days. So.
And so when you do that, is there the train takes your bike? That's a normal thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like almost all the Amtraks have like options. Some you have to reserve. I think actually here to DC we'll have to reserve like slots.
That makes sense.
Because essentially it's the luggage car. They have like bike racks. But yeah.
There's like a train that goes to Florida like that takes your car, right?
So ironically, I was looking up this ride, and a YouTuber that I used to watch a lot, a gravel rider, he lives in Florida, and he did that. He did the auto train to DC, got off, you know, with his bike, literally had his bike in his car, drove to his friend's house, and then they did the opposite. They rode from DC to Cumberland, Maryland. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then got in his car and drove home?
Yeah.
Is the auto train, is that on the Crescent line, or is that a totally different line? Because the Crescent is the one that goes from New York to Louisiana.
So I think the auto train only does DC to Florida.
Okay.
I think. I know it goes through the Carolinas. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're trying to decide, if we're just going to straight camp it up, because there's campsites along the way. There's also like lock houses, because, you know, it's an old canal that you can like reserve. So we would just take like sleeping bags and a camp stove, you know, that would keep us from having to worry about like a tent, tarp, hammock, whatever. Trying to decide that part.
I mean, you'll be 40. Maybe the house is the way to go.
So, yeah. And it's just a matter of like speed too. Like, do you want to average, 12 or 15, or do you want to average 10 or 12 with like your gear? So, yeah. So, probably do some fishing because you're right there between the Potomac and the canal like the whole time.
Seems like there ought to be some fish.
Yeah. So that's a different kind of like wheeled adventure that's coming up in the next 12 months.
That'll be entertaining. Anything else fun going on?
I was trying. I don't know.
Just that we've got, you're talking about OAR. We've got a lot of stuff coming up this fall. So Adventure X Fest in September, OAR in October, maybe something else in October. We'll save that for a later day. I've got information on that for you, by the way. And then we'll be in Georgia Bushcraft in November. Yeah, so.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
we got a bunch of stuff coming.
Yeah. Looking forward to Adventure X Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Brandy and KJ is going to go up for this one. You said Lindsay may go up. It's just a fun, chill event. Like, you can go out and explore, or
Beautiful
you can
area,
just
too.
hang out and enjoy the beautiful,
Yeah.
like awesome campsites. Yeah, so
I have something every year. I don't know what I forget what day that is.
that's
on,
like
but
the 12th of September that weekend. I think. Yeah, it's in our
It's
email.
that soon. Holy cow.
yeah, it's coming up. I know.
Yeah, his is early because you're up so high.
Yeah.
You remember last year? Like
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
pretty chilly.
It
that
was pretty
one
chilly.
morning. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have like a state rifle match or something for
Yeah, I think that was
I have
it.
a bunch of kids that are.
And there was last year it was pretty chilly. Like one morning, he's going to do 2 raffles this year. So there's gonna be like a Saturday night raffle and then the Sunday morning like raffle. One's gonna be more small stuff. One's gonna be the larger things. They do like best rigs, like most best DIY, best classic, best overall, something like that was the categories. So yeah, and Experience Learning Center / Spruce Knob. Like Logan did a run. Josh and I fished up there. Think this year may take the bike and just ride from there.
Yeah, I did a run and did not account for how uphill that.
Right,
uphill
you're
was gonna
literally
be at the
camping
end,
on
but
like
yeah.
the tallest place around. So
Yeah.
if you leave to run and like everything's up back.
Everything from there on out is
Yeah,
uphill
yeah.
on the way home.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the fishing this year will be way better.
Thing starts to make more sense.
That's
you know.
true. Last year we really struck out on fishing. There was just no water. Like it was so bad that I almost canceled a trip a month later back up to West Virginia to fish. But thankfully they got a lot of rain in early October, so we ended up going and fishing. But like I really need to keep an eye on it. I feel like it's been a lot wetter here.
Phew.
Yeah.
It has been up there too.
Yeah. Because last year, like at one point, West Virginia is like every stream in the
county was
state
in a
except for
drought.
one was like below 20 percentile
Yeah.
for flow.
Yeah, they were all bad. Everything was bad. Even here it was bad, but up there it was worse.
Yeah. No, I fished last Friday just up north of us here and morning, and I was shocked at the water and the temperature. Because, I mean, we've had enough that the groundwater is still flowing really well, so the springs that dump into some of these creeks. Like, I went up Overstreet, and about halfway, the water was like 62 or something like that. So,
Wow. Yeah, no, we've not been short on rain, that's for sure, and we still got more coming. Well, do we have anything else fun?
No, what do you think, Logan? Have people tell us what you think about
Yeah.
the new format, the segments?
Yeah, drop us what segments you like, don't like, would like.
Yeah,
give
if
us,
you got
give us some
ideas.
feedback. Yeah.
The more the merrier. Oh, the jerky segment will come back. It won't be the same ones all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, the jerky segment really should be here every time.
Yeah,
That's
when we
that's
remember
the
jerky.
most important one. It's in the truck,
yeah.
but I will have more jerky.
Yeah.
This also opens it up. It'll be fun when we have guests, maybe almost make it easier to have guests because we don't have to have like it's about whatever you have going on.
Right.
They can jump in
just
on these
jump in,
conversations.
and part of it can
yeah.
be, yeah,
So.
that's a good call.
Cool.
Yeah, no, if we got nothing else, a little shorter episode. We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. News, Rick's Rant, shop update, cool stuff we've seen. Jerky testing will continue. Other options. And as always, thanks for watching. And we'll catch you in 2 weeks.